Good evening, everyone. I hope you have a much better Harvest Festival or Thanksgiving than the characters in this story. At the very least, this story should give you something to be grateful for. As always, please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the story. And also, I am so grateful to all of you who have already subscribed. That really means a lot. So let's get into it. Rural Minnesota, 1852. The day of the Harvest Festival. I dream of the annual Harvest Festival celebration, and a smile spreads across my lips. It will at last be a chance for us to stop our chores, talk, and eat. It is the food that I fantasize about most of all. We work ourselves to exhaustion for every scrap we get from the dry earth. Yet God continues to punish us with a lack of rain and strong winds that blow away our seeds in topsoil. 3 years of small crop yields. Everyone's clothing hangs loosely around malnourished frames, and I am hungry all the time. This is the type of hunger that doesn't go away when you drink more water or when you try to distract yourself. It's an annoying demon that follows you everywhere. But tomorrow, we'll eat our fill. We'll shuck corn and roast it with our rationed butter. We'll enjoy some sweet potatoes, and best of all, we'll have turkey. There are 100 people in our farming village, and everyone is entitled to eat the turkey during the fall harvest celebration. I wake to the sound of children laughing, the only ones in our village still capable of that kind of joy, and my heart warms. I rouse myself and prepare for the day by putting on my many layers of clothing and slowly, bite by bite, munching one tiny apple and a cup of water for my breakfast. I'm an adult at 16, so I have to report to the community center and take my token as part of the harvest tradition. With everyone in my family dressed and something small in everyone's belly, my mother grabs my hand and rubs the back of it with her thumb. Together with my other adult siblings, 2 twin 18-year-old brothers, and my 17-year-old sister, we marched to the large wooden cabin that serves as our town's main gathering area. As we push through the entrance, another family exits, smiling and hugging each other as they leave the cabin. There must have been only Blackstones for them. My father clears his throat and pulls my sister, who is lingering in the doorway, inside. We shuffle up to our neighbor and town leader, Mr. Smith, who is seated at a wooden table facing the door. The table before him is empty except for a medium-sized brown cloth sack. His hollowed-out cheeks and bags under his eyes provide a physical marker of hard times we've all endured. His head leans heavily on an open palm, and he addresses us. The Jones family. Many blessings. All the adults are here, I see. He sits up straighter and holds out the bag. There is 1 stone for every member of the adult community. Most of the stones are black, but 3 are red. As head of the family, my father goes first. Without delay, he pulls out a stone and shows it to Mr. Smith. A black stone. My mother and twin brothers set the same example by getting the unpleasant task with over fast. All black stones. My sister sobs silently and needs an encouraging push from our father to take her turn. She puts her hand in the bag and then pulls out a stone. We can't see it at first as her hand completely surrounds the stone, but then she slowly opens her hand, looking at it with her side eye like it might attack her. A red stone. My sister's knees give way and she falls against my father, who holds her up and half carries her to the side of the cabin. I glance over my shoulder at them until I feel my mother rub my back, and with faltering words she says, "Choose your stone, my love." I turn back and watch as my hand, seemingly independent from my will, floats across the empty space towards the bag. I feel all of the smooth pebbles, my hand sliding over each one, any one of which could be red or black. At last, I choose one and pull it out. A red stone. Mr. Smith's eyes brim with tears, and he presses his lips together. He leans back in his chair and nods once. "Who in your family? I'm sorry." Since grabbing my stone, I haven't moved. I stand, staring at it. My mother bends down until she's looking directly into Mr. Smith's face. She puts her hands together like she's going to pray and whispers to him, "Don't tell anyone. Give us a chance at least to save one of them." Mr. Smith shifts on his chair, then answers, "I'll only say who received the stone if your family breaks the rules. The girls themselves will need to." My mother nods once to him, not needing him to finish his sentence. She places her hands on my shoulders and directs me toward the cabin exit. Then she whispers into my ear, "Stay strong until we get home and come up with a plan. We don't want people to know." Then to my sister she says, "Stop crying for your own sake." My family gathers together before we leave the cabin, and with the hand not holding the stone, I reach over and take one of my brother's hands. It's sweaty, but he squeezes it and we step closer together. In silence, but with chins up, we return to our home, a large one-room cabin heated by a stone fireplace that we all cram ourselves around each night. We stuff ourselves into the room now for our family meeting. As everyone tries to find a seat, my mother fills a black pot with water and pine needles, then places it above the fire to make tea. My sister and I sit on a bench in front of the hearth and try to hold back tears. My father, still standing and poking the fire, speaks in a strained voice. "We can't lose you both. We need to find a substitute, at least one. I'll volunteer in place of one of you, but in order to keep you both, we'll have to use someone from the village. Who in this town doesn't add anything? Who would we be better without?" My mother turns pointedly towards my father. "We can't lose the head of our house. We're not going to sacrifice you." Through her tears, my sister pipes up, "Old man Godfrey, he's so old. He's had a good life." My mother shakes her head slowly and chews her bottom lip. "The town wouldn't accept that. They would feel cheated. Look at you and look at him," she says, gesturing with one hand from my sister to outside the window. My sister curls her arms around her ample belly and sags her head down. Even given our circumstances, my sister naturally held on to weight. She was the envy of the town, and people often, incorrectly, accused her of stealing food or of being with child outside of wedlock. "What about Sarah Goodwife? She's never had children, and she continues to live with her parents at 35. She's reasonably plump," one of my twin brothers suggests. My father nodded. "Yes, definitely. The town would accept that. A good trade." He turns to my sister. "Can you do it?" "You know only the person who got the red stone can do it. Mr. Smith is an honest man, and will testify if anyone else is caught making the trade." My sister sniffs and nods towards our father. I move closer to her on the bench, put my arms around her back, and rest my head on her shoulder. My father continues, "Sarah Goodwife doesn't know you've been chosen. You can sneak up on her, but if word gets out, well, then only God can help you, and it seems like he's not on your side today." "What about me? Who should I get?" I ask, still leaning against my sister, and taking comfort in the familiarity of her scent of wood smoke and the softness of her worn clothes. My mother sits down beside me on the bench and puts her arms around me. She kisses my forehead, while my sister leans away from us and crosses her arms. "You didn't offer that to me," she mumbles under her breath, but my mother ignores her and brushes my cheek with her finger. "You're a fighter," my mother says, gazing at me and tapping my nose with her finger. Those words reminded me that we had passed another family on our way back. My sister managed not to cry, but what if those people could tell someone in our family got a red stone? They could be spreading the word about our family's misfortune at this very minute. "Mom, I have to go find someone now." I lean forward towards my mother as I grip the edge of the bench and dig my nails into the soft wood. I clench my teeth and stand up. I start towards the door. I can't just sit around here. I need to take care of this now. My mother grabs my shoulder and spins me around. "Where are you going? We need a plan." "Ma, I'm going to kill the baker's son. He'll be my replacement. He's an adult now, and everyone knows he takes more than his fair share of bread. He's mean and obnoxious to everyone. He won't be missed." I yank open the door and head towards the shed to get our hatchet, but my mother chases after me and whispers into my ear. "Are you just gonna lug that through town? People will know you have the red stone if you do that. Put it in your bag so people can't see." She takes my forearm in a hard grip and drags both me and the hatchet back inside. Once there, she places it gently in my wicker backpack. She hugs me and I hold her back. Then I wish my sister luck and head over towards the bakery. The smell of bread makes me salivate. My thoughts drift to this evening when I should finally be able to eat. It's midday and I've only had a small apple. I reach the bakery, step in the door, and there he is, taking bread out of the oven with a large metal pan. He's making more than usual today for the festival. Briefly, I worry that people will hate me for killing this boy, since he helps make the bread. But I remember that he is the laziest son and often burns his loaves. I step up to the counter like a customer, and my shoes scrape over the gravel. "You have money for bread today?" He laughs at me, which hardens my resolve to end him. The store is empty, except for the two of us. I give him a tight smile, reach in my pocket, and show him 2 coins. Well, what do you want then?" He leans his body against the bench in front of us, and I note again the little bit of fat he has under his chin, and I reassure myself that he is a cheat, and he steals bread, and he deserves this. Still, even being the laziest and considered fat, when compared to our starving population, he has huge muscles from lifting all that flour. I'll need to take him by surprise. With a shaking finger, I point towards a loaf high on the shelf. He turns around and I quickly remove my backpack and retrieve the hatchet. But I manage to hit him in the arm and plunge the hatchet in until I connect with bone. He screams and clutches at his arm with his other hand and drops to the floor where I can't see him due to the counter between us. I run around the counter and he's kicking at me with his legs, but he's trapped. Behind him and to both sides are walls, unless he jumps the counter. I tighten my grip on the hatchet and bring it down on his foot, and he screams again, now limp for life if he somehow escapes. He uses his other leg to push away from me. I approach and bring the hatchet down on his stomach, then move up his body and hack at his neck until he stops moving. Fast as I can, I use the hatchet to remove his ripped stomach organs. It doesn't count if the meat is poisoned. I focus with all my concentration when I hear someone behind me. I turn around, blood smeared all over my hands and arms. It's Sarah Goodwife. "Looks like we had the same idea," she smirks. "No one liked that guy." "You got the 3rd red stone?" I shout as my hand, slippery with blood, tries to find a grip on the hatchet handle. Yep. Oh well, now there's you. And with that, she knocks the hatchet out of my hand, then steps on my arm, pinning it to the ground. She adjusts her grip on her knife, but that extra second costs her her life. My sister, who had been searching for and then trailing Sarah Goodwife since I had left our cabin, plunges a knife through Sarah's throat from behind. Sarah gurgles and chokes before falling over on top of me. I push her off, and my sister helps me to my feet. We hug each other, crying. We're so relieved about our kills that we forget the town requires 3 bodies to cook for tonight's harvest festival, and we only have 2. As we walk towards the feast with our kills, we have no idea what will happen next. Once again, thank you for listening. If you liked it, please give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.